Join me as I take on the challenge of making the most flavorful Jamaican jerk pork shoulder with a unique Caribbean twist. In this video, you'll learn how to make an irresistible Jamaican jerk pork shoulder that not only showcases traditional spices, but also adds a special Caribbean flair. Cooking pork shoulder can sometimes be daunting, especially when trying to achieve that perfect balance of flavor and tenderness. But fear not, I've got you covered. The key to a mouth-watering jerk pork shoulder lies in the preparation and patience. You see, the right blend of spices and herbs, combined with a bit of love and care, can transform this cut of meat into a culinary masterpiece. So, let's get started on this flavorful journey. The first step in our recipe is to prepare the marinade, which is essentially the backbone of the jerk flavor. We'll be blending aromatic spices like allspice, thyme, and Scotch bonnet peppers, along with some herbs and a bit of citrus to give it that Caribbean twist. This marinade is what sets jerk cuisine apart, so making it from scratch is absolutely essential. I'll guide you through the ingredients and proportions to ensure you get that authentic jerk taste. Once our marinade is ready, we'll move on to the marinating process. This is where the magic happens, as the pork shoulder soaks up all the flavors and spices, becoming more aromatic and tantalizing with each passing minute. I'll share some tips on how to ensure the meat absorbs the marinade evenly and efficiently. The duration of marination is crucial, so we'll discuss the optimal time to achieve that deep, rich flavor. The highlight of the video will be the moment we unveil the beautifully cooked jerk pork shoulder, showcasing its vibrant color and tantalizing aroma, followed by a taste test that will have your mouth watering. The moment of truth arrives as we slice into the shoulder and reveal its juicy, tender interior. Get ready to experience the explosion of flavors that jerk seasoning has to offer. As we take that first bite, you'll see why this dish is a staple in Caribbean cuisine. The texture, the flavors, the overall experience, it all comes together to create a dish that's not just delicious, but also a representation of the rich culinary heritage of the Caribbean. So, let's get cooking and see how this Jamaican jerk pork shoulder turns out. To wrap up, we've explored the steps to create a flavorful Jamaican jerk pork shoulder, emphasizing the importance of marination and cooking methods for the best results. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other videos for more delicious Caribbean-inspired dishes.
Join me as I take on the challenge of cooking the most delicious savory Moroccan lamb chops with a smoky twist. Can I nail it? I'm super excited to share this recipe with you, and I think you'll love the unique twist that sets these lamb chops apart from your typical recipes. The combination of Moroccan spices and a smoky flavor is going to take these lamb chops to a whole new level. One of the biggest challenges people face when cooking lamb chops at home is getting them to be tender and full of flavor. I've been there too. You end up with lamb chops that are either overcooked and tough or lacking that authentic flavor that you get from a restaurant. Overcooking is a common mistake, and it's easy to get distracted and end up with lamb chops that are way past their prime. Another challenge is getting that perfect balance of flavors. It's easy to get caught up in adding too much of this or that, and ending up with a dish that's overpowering. And then there's the issue of lacking authentic flavor. It's hard to replicate that restaurant taste at home, especially when you're working with a specific cuisine like Moroccan. I've found that it's all about finding that delicate balance of spices and cooking techniques. The Moroccan flavor profile is all about bold spices and marinades, and there are a few key ingredients that really make a difference. Ras el Hanout is a Moroccan spice blend that's a staple in many Moroccan dishes, and it adds a depth of flavor that's hard to replicate with other spices. Olive oil is another essential ingredient. It helps to bring all the flavors together and adds a richness to the dish. Garlic and ginger are also commonly used in Moroccan cooking, and they add a punch of flavor that's essential to the dish. To infuse a smoky flavor into the lamb chops, I'm using a combination of smoked paprika and a bit of liquid smoke. It adds a really interesting depth of flavor. As the lamb chops cook, the aroma that fills the air is incredible. You can really smell the spices and the smokiness coming together. When they're finally cooked to perfection, it's a moment of pure joy. The flavors all come together, and you can see the tender meat just begging to be devoured. But the cooking process doesn't stop there. It's really important to let the lamb chops rest before serving, to allow all the juices to redistribute and the flavors to meld together. This is where the magic happens, and the lamb chops go from being just okay to being truly amazing. When you slice into them and see the juices flowing, you know you've got a winner. And the best part is, it's not just about the end result. The process of cooking the lamb chops is just as enjoyable as the finished dish. So, to recap, we've used a combination of Moroccan spices, a smoky twist, and some careful cooking techniques to create these savory Moroccan lamb chops. The key steps were marinating the lamb chops in a mixture of olive oil, garlic, ginger, and spices, then cooking them to perfection and letting them rest to allow the flavors to meld together. The result is a dish that's full of flavor and tender to the bone. I'd love to hear about your own experiences with cooking lamb chops or Moroccan dishes. Have you got a favorite recipe or technique that you swear by? Let me know in the comments below, or be sure to check out my other video on Moroccan grilling techniques for more inspiration.
Join me as I try to grill the perfect savory Korean galbi short ribs. Can I nail that sweet and smoky flavor? Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the mouth-watering world of Korean galbi short ribs, a beloved dish known for its savory flavors and deliciously tender meat. Many home cooks struggle with getting their galbi short ribs to turn out tender and flavorful, often feeling overwhelmed by the marinade process or grilling techniques. I know I've been there too. It seems like, no matter how hard I try, I just can't get that perfect balance of flavors and textures. The good news is that with a few simple tips and tricks, you can achieve restaurant-quality results at home. From my experience, it's all about understanding the right combination of ingredients and cooking methods. The first step to achieving perfection is to understand the importance of the marinade. A good marinade can make all the difference in the world, adding depth and complexity to the dish. For our galbi short ribs, we'll be using a mixture of soy sauce, garlic, ginger, brown sugar, and sesame oil. A classic Korean-inspired combination that's both savory and sweet. By taking the time to marinate the ribs, you'll end up with a dish that's full of flavor. We'll also be sharing some expert tips on how to prepare the ribs for grilling, from removing the membrane to cutting the right slits. Every detail counts when it comes to achieving that perfect char. Watch as we reveal the final grilling techniques that transform these marinated ribs into a beautifully charred and succulent dish, ready to impress your family and friends. The key to getting that perfect sear is to make sure the grill is hot, 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 and to not be afraid to get a little bit of char on those ribs. When done correctly, the result is absolutely stunning. With a bit of practice, you'll be grilling like a pro in no time. To achieve perfection, it's essential to monitor the temperature and adjust the grilling time accordingly. This ensures that the ribs are cooked to your liking, without becoming overcooked or dry. A meat thermometer can be a useful tool in this process. To wrap up, we've covered the essential steps and tips to create the perfect Korean galbi short ribs, highlighting the importance of the marinade and grilling method. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our other grilling recipes and let us know in the comments how your galbi turned out. Join me as I take on the challenge of making the most mouth-watering porchetta you've ever seen. Can I nail it to perfection? Porchetta, the quintessential Italian dish that's sure to make your taste buds dance. It's a classic for a reason. The combination of crispy, golden skin and juicy, flavorful meat is absolute perfection. For those who've had the pleasure of trying authentic porchetta, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a dish that's often associated with special occasions and gatherings, but today I'm excited to show you how to bring it to your own kitchen. One of the biggest hurdles people face when trying to make porchetta at home is getting the seasoning just right. It's easy to overdo it, and before you know it, your porchetta is overpowering rather than complementing the other flavors. Another challenge is achieving that perfect balance of crispy skin and tender meat. It's a delicate dance, to say the least. Cooking time is also crucial. You want to make sure the meat is cooked through without drying out. And let's not forget the texture. You want that skin to be crackling and crunchy, not chewy or soggy. To start, you'll want to select the right cut of meat. I'm using a beautiful pork belly, which has just the right amount of fat to keep things juicy. Next, it's time to talk seasoning. I'm using a classic blend of garlic, rosemary, and lemon zest, which will give our porchetta that unmistakable Italian flavor. When it comes to applying the seasoning, make sure to get it all over the meat, but don't be shy. You want that flavor to penetrate deep. Finally, it's time to roll our porchetta and get it in the oven. The key here is to cook it low and slow so that the meat stays tender and the skin gets crispy. The moment of truth has finally arrived. It's time to slice into our porchetta and see how it turned out. And oh, is it a beauty! The skin is crispy and golden, and the meat is juicy and flavorful. You can see the layers of seasoning and the tender texture of the meat. It's a real showstopper, and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. Taking that first bite is the best part. The flavors all come together, and you get that perfect balance of textures. It's a real triumph, and I'm so glad I got to share it with you. To recap, the key to making amazing porchetta at home is to focus on getting that seasoning just right, cooking it low and slow, and making sure that skin is crispy and golden. With a little practice and patience, you'll be making porchetta like a pro in no time. If you've had a favorite porchetta experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you're looking for more Italian recipes, be sure to check out my next video, where I'll be exploring the world of pasta dishes. Thanks for joining me on this culinary adventure, and I'll see you in the next video.
Join me as I try to figure out what makes this Indian tandoori goat so irresistible. I'll be tasting it and sharing my honest reaction. Tandoori goat is a staple in Indian cuisine, especially during special occasions and gatherings. The dish originates from the traditional tandoor oven, where marinated goat is cooked to perfection. What makes it so unique is the blend of spices, the cooking technique, and the tenderness of the meat. In this video, we'll dive into what gives tandoori goat its irresistible flavor and why it's a favorite among many food enthusiasts. One common misconception about goat meat is that it's gamey and tough. Many people shy away from cooking it, thinking it's too challenging to prepare. However, when done right, goat meat can be incredibly tender and flavorful. The key lies in the marination and cooking process. I've had my fair share of goat meat, and I must say it can be quite overwhelming if not cooked properly. Another challenge people face is achieving the right balance of spices. Too little, and the dish is bland. Too much, and it overpowers the natural flavor of the meat. The art of cooking. Tandoori goat lies in finding that perfect balance. I've seen many recipes that promise to deliver the authentic taste, but it often comes down to personal preference and experimentation. Some people also believe that goat meat is only suitable for slow cooking methods. While it's true that slow cooking can make the meat tender, a good tandoori goat recipe can achieve tenderness and flavor in a relatively short period. The secret lies in the quality of the meat, the spices used, and the cooking technique. The marination process for tandoori goat is quite extensive. It involves a mix of yogurt, lemon juice, and a blend of spices that typically includes cumin, coriander, garam masala, and cayenne pepper. The acidity in the yogurt and lemon juice helps to break down the proteins in the meat, making it tender and infused with flavor. The spices are then absorbed into the meat, giving it that distinct taste and aroma. The type of spices used can vary depending on the region and personal preference. Some recipes might include additional ingredients like garlic, ginger, or even mustard oil for added depth. What's fascinating is how these spices work together to create a harmonious balance of flavors. The cooking method is also crucial. Traditionally, tandoori goat is cooked in a tandoor oven, which gives it a smoky flavor and a beautiful char. The high heat of the tandoor seals the outside of the meat, locking in the juices and flavors. When done correctly, the result is a vibrant, slightly charred exterior with a tender and juicy interior. As the tandoori goat is taken out of the tandoor, the aroma that fills the air is incredible. The vibrant colors, the smoky flavor, and the tender texture all come together to create a dish that's hard to resist. When you take that first bite, the flavors explode in your mouth and the texture just melts away. The combination of the smoky flavor, the tender meat, and the explosion of spices is what makes tandoori goat so irresistible. It's not just about the individual elements. It's how they come together to create a culinary experience. In summary, it's the combination of the right marination, the unique cooking method, and the blend of spices that makes tandoori goat so irresistible. Each element plays a crucial role in creating a dish that's both flavorful and tender. If you've had a similar experience with tandoori goat or any other Indian dish, share it with me in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your favorite Indian recipes and cooking experiences. Don't forget to check out my other cooking videos, where I explore more delicious recipes and share my honest reactions.
Join me as I take on the challenge of creating the ultimate Argentinian chimichurri steak that will wow all my guests. I'm super excited to share with you this recipe that's not only a staple in Argentinian cuisine, but also incredibly easy to make and guaranteed to impress. Chimichurri steak is more than just a dish. It's an experience that brings people together. And today, I'm going to show you how to make it like a pro. Many of us have faced the challenge of trying to create a flavorful steak that really stands out. I know I've been there, struggling to get that perfect flavor and tenderness. One of the biggest hurdles is not knowing how to properly use a marinade. A good marinade can make all the difference, but it's easy to get it wrong. Then there's the issue of cooking techniques. Overcooking or undercooking the steak can be a disaster. And let's not forget about the quality of the ingredients. It can be tough to know what to look for when you're at the grocery store. Another challenge is finding that perfect balance of flavors. You want your steak to be seasoned just right, not too salty or too bland. And what's the best way to achieve that? For me, it's all about understanding the role of each ingredient and how they work together. When you get it right, it's pure magic. Your guests will be talking about that steak for weeks. To make this delicious chimichurri steak, you'll need a few simple ingredients. For the steak, I'm using a beautiful flank steak, but you can use any cut you prefer. For the chimichurri sauce, you'll need fresh parsley, oregano, garlic, red pepper flakes, red wine vinegar, olive oil, salt, and pepper. That's it. To prepare the marinade, simply combine the parsley, oregano, garlic, and red pepper flakes in a bowl. Squeeze in some fresh lime juice and add a drizzle of olive oil. Season with salt and pepper to taste. Once your marinade is ready, add the steak and let it sit for at least 30 minutes or even overnight if you have the time. When you're ready to cook, fire up your grill or grill pan to medium-high heat. Remove the steak from the marinade, letting any excess liquid drip off. Cook the steak for about 5 to 7 minutes per side, or until it reaches your desired level of doneness. While the steak is cooking, I like to prepare the chimichurri sauce. Simply combine all the ingredients in a bowl and stir to combine. Taste and adjust the seasoning as needed. As the steak finishes cooking, I can already smell the aroma of that perfectly cooked meat. Once it's rested, it's time to slice it thinly against the grain. The moment of truth has finally arrived. It's time to plate our steak and add the ultimate finishing touch, the vibrant and tangy chimichurri sauce. The final result is truly stunning. The steak is perfectly cooked, and the chimichurri sauce adds a pop of color and flavor that takes it to the next level. I can confidently say that this dish is sure to wow your guests. If you want to impress your guests with a dish that's both flavorful and easy to make, then this chimichurri steak recipe is the way to go. I've walked you through the key steps, and I hope you're as excited as I am to give it a try. So, what are you waiting for? Give this recipe a try and let me know how it turns out in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more delicious recipes and cooking tips.